All right, I see that people are joining us. Perfect. We've got quite a lot of people dialing in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I know a lot of people are joining from a lot of different places around the world. Welcome to today's webinar, Pioneering AI-powered multilingual support to improve global customer experiences. My name is Sarah Perochat, and we're excited to have you with us today. Before we begin, I'd like to cover a few housekeeping items that we usually cover during webinars. So as always, if you want to submit some questions, you can do it at any time using the chat or the Q&A box that's on Zoom, and we'll address as many as possible during the Q&A session at the end. If you experience any technical issues, just try refreshing your browser first, and if that doesn't work, I'll do my best to try to assist you. So feel free to message me in the chat. And then this session is being recorded, so you'll receive a link after the session, probably tomorrow. We're thrilled to have Marek, CS Director of Player Engagement at Keyword Studio. Hi, Marek, as our moderator today.
Everybody.
And he's joined by Sebastian Brent, Director of Player Services at Huuuge. So we're in for a fantastic session. I was there when we practiced, and I can tell you that there's a lot of good content. So without further ado, let me turn it over to Marek to kick things off.
Thanks, Sarah, and thanks everyone for finding time on this afternoon in Europe and morning in the US, and probably midnight in Asia, if anyone's dialing in from that part of the world. So today with Sebastian, we wanted to cover a very important aspect is how can we use AI to empower our agents to cater to the global audience, removing the language barrier. We've been through that journey with Sebastian, and we have lots of very interesting information to share about how it went, but also we will be sharing some benchmarks across Helpshift, so we can show you the validation of the results as well. But before we dive into those details, Sebastian, you've been doing this prior to Language AI being released. So if you could describe what was the support operations at that time.
So first of all, welcome all, and let's kick off. So our games are very popular. Almost 200 countries play our games, and if you analyze the issues that are coming through Helpshift, more than 40% of all issues are non-English issues. Before implementing the language AI, we use various different methods to respond to these issues. We had agent-specific languages for different markets. We collaborated with companies that integrated with Helpshift and used machine translations or translation engines with manual processing. And also we used the manual translation, let's say by using Google Translate, for example, right? So basically we try to find a solution to deliver the best possible service to non-English speakers. And we tried many different things.
And so with those three methods that you described, so agents with native speakers, with the different third-party integrations to Helpshift, or using like Google Translate, like, going to the other tab using Google Translate, this kind of stuff. What were the key challenges that you've seen with those three different methods?
There were a few, because we always knew that we cannot really focus only on English-speaking audience, and we try to improve the process, right? So some of these methods that I mentioned were too expensive. So we had to limit the number of languages that we covered. Some of them caused lack of efficiency, because agents had to copy paste, switching between tabs to resolve issues, and sometimes we also had to send responses in English to non-English speakers, which obviously hurt player experience. Some methods resulted in low CSAT scores because the translations were not perfect, right? Like using translators for translating from English to Chinese, for example, right? So that was not perfect, basically.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, this was, I remember our conversations when we first released Language AI. So, how did you select and decide to like go with the feature that we integrated into Helpshift?
Having this all experience, we always a bit skeptical, right? Like, so what we did, we did an A/B tests basically. For a quarter we were using the tool, and we saw some really good results. We evaluated CSAT, and we saw an increase of 0.5 CSAT score, which was really good. Also, we focused on the time to first response, and here also we saw some really good improvements. I think it was 21%
I
reduced.
think, Sarah, we can put the slide 5 on the screen for the our audience. Yeah. Sorry, so
Exactly. So basically, we were able to provide very good translations in several languages. We focused on few. We took the Asian languages like Japanese or Chinese, and some European languages that we wanted to check, and we saw CSAT skyrocketing really. Now we are able to cover more than 25 languages, because we decided to extend the usage of this tool. Maybe it's also important to mention how we evaluated, the quality of translations. So we took some native speakers, and we asked them for help. Also, we tried to engage also our agents and gather their feedback on how easy it is to use the tool, how efficient it is, and both our native speakers and our internal agents were kind of impressed. The vocabulary, the quality, accuracy were awesome. What also is important that this AI tool can actually adjust a tone of voice, to match the content of the message. So it's really helpful. So basically, we gain on efficiency and definitely better consistency across languages. So it was a good call.
And Sebastian, you touched that. I'm sure that the audience is very interested in that quality topic, because that's one of the key concerns, right? Like, will the brand be affected if we use AI to speak to our audience? Will they feel that as a decrease in service levels? So maybe, Sarah, we can pull the slide 2 now on the screen, and I feel like this will be very interesting for everybody to see. We were very digging into that with Sebastian just Friday as well. We can see that this is, by the way, across 62 domains on Helpshift. So let's call it 62 brands, and 13.6 million issues that were aggregated. And you can see on the left-hand side how Language AI is performing based on CSAT through all of those languages. And for all of those languages, we had a statistically relevant sample size. And we can see that some of the languages that typically we did have some concerns, Sebastian, we talked about that, Korean, Japanese going like very, very strong. Our dear Polish, it's not so good. We still have to do some work on the tooling, but Polish is, I think, tier 3 language, was considered tier 3 language, one of the most complex for AIs. Not for us, but for the AIs, yeah. We're still smart in AI, Sebastian. And for now, not for long. Dutch was another one that was challenging, and Chinese simplified. But overall, FIGs and like the most popular languages, they're doing very well. And if you, on the right-hand side, we have the Helpshift benchmark. So we have something for comparison. We see that there's basically no drop in the perceived quality or the satisfaction levels of customers. And in case of Huuuge, Sebastian, you guys have seen an increase, right?
Definitely, I can confirm that we saw an increase, even on very popular languages like German, right? Like I think that the spike there was very high. I think even above the average that we achieved with 0.5 CSAT score. So yes.
Mm-hmm. So let's go back to to Huuuge and diving deeper into your operation. So once the implementation of language AI took place, what adjustments did you make to the support operation?
There were few. Like the most important part with AI is that you can deploy English speaking agent into conversing with non-English speakers, basically, right? So what you achieve with that is you reduce the waiting time for the players. Before using other methods, it was affected, like for example with shifts, right? So also what we achieved is we optimize cost and provide 24/7 support for the whole globe, basically, right? So what's also important, and I think it's even more important that the things that I mentioned before, it's that AI and automations allow us to give our agents kind of like we include them in more strategic and meaningful interactions, rather than doing these repetitive tasks. We kind of enable them to contact VIP players, focusing more on the retention, diving deeper into topics, into issues. I think this all led to increased CSAT, reducing the time to first response. And I think that I can tell that we found, I think we found the sweet spot between kind of full automation, partial automation, and this like white glove approach for our top players. I think we're almost there.
That's perfect. So I was just about to call out if you could pull that up, because this is a just superb results for CSAT, and how you, Sebastian, how you redeployed the team to achieve like this massive change, right?
Yeah, so this was kind of like this was something that we decided to test and implement. Obviously, the cues for that the result that we see here are for like lower amount of issues, right? Like small queues, but the most important players that we have. And the CSAT increase is incredible, right? Our agents, we gave our agents more time to work on issues. We contact the players within minutes. And also, thanks to AI, we are preparing for the new feature that Helpshift offers. Live chat. We already testing it. Players need to get used to that. But this also will AI and automation will allow our agents to work on the live chat as well. Like with even we will try to reduce the time to first response even more. So looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, and then again, language works on what we call live chat. We call it live messaging in Helpshift. So that just works seamlessly. If you have live messaging on your domain and language AI, you can just start today. The other feature for language AI that we just released from I think from beta not long ago is the FAQ translations,
Yes.
right? And we know that historically, like getting the FAQ and knowledge base into all languages has been not an easy task. We've seen a lot of brands and gaming studios put a lot of effort into making sure that this content is available in as many languages as they can, but with the constant flow of new content, there's a bug. Now we need to translate into 25 languages. How does the FAQ translation affect you, Sebastian?
Our games are quite complex. It's kind of like it's constantly changing, right? Like new offers, new features, etc., etc. So it's super important to keep the FAQ up to date and to make sure that that the FAQ is available in as many languages as possible. We struggled with that before AI language tool. We had only the most important languages from our perspective that we translated. It was English, German, French, top languages. It was done. It was a manual work. We used with some third-party companies to help us with translations. It took time. Now, now we tried your Keyword Studio and Helpshift AI language tool, and we were able to translate FAQ for in 15 languages within minutes, basically. So it's awesome. What we actually again wanted to validate is the quality, right? So what we did, we post an announcement on Helpshift, and we asked our players if they could actually help us and evaluate the quality of the translations. And actually, we didn't get any feedback, so it's a good thing, there are no remarks, no feedback regarding this, regarding the FAQ. But also, a very positive thing is that immediately we saw a spike when it comes to likes, when it comes to views on FAQs, and when it comes to our two main titles, which is Huuuge Casino and Billionaire Casino. We saw also increased numbers when it comes to deflection rates. We are aiming to 90%. We are almost there, and now with these translations, we should improve very soon.
Yeah, that's great to hear, and thanks for sharing those metrics, because I know how important that is for the audience as well, like to get like the real life examples. Just to highlight how important multilingual support is in our industry, but also in general when we deal with this multilingual global support. Sorry, if we could pull up slide 4. So based on this 13.6 million issues that we analyzed, I feel like this will be a very interesting insight into the English and non-English split for the audience. We can see that almost 50% of people contacting are not doing that in English, meaning that there's a chance that this group of players, in our case, wouldn't really be able to get service. So it's very important that we are finding ways to empower the agents to help those players get back into the game, to help them resolve their account issues, billing issues, and whatnot. Of course, this is just across the 62 domains that have been testing language AI from the beginning. Hasn't been that long since we rolled it out. I think Sebastian was like Q2, Q1, beginning of Q2, end of Q1.
So actually, we took it Q4 previous year, 2000.
All right.
Yeah. So we already
Fine.
we tested it like I think it was the end of Q4, and then we compared like Q1 versus Q2, and the full rollout was actually end of Q2. We decided, yeah, we take it.
Yeah. So again, and Sebastian, thank you so much, because Huuuge, we have to make that call out, is always pioneering every feature, and thanks for willing to test things with us as well and provide us feedback on where we should take the product. So leveraging language AI can be both rewarding and challenging. What are your insights and lessons learned from this experience that you could share with the audience and others who are looking to consider a similar path?
So there are a few things. The most important is not to be afraid to test and roll out new features and technologies. The cooperation with Helpshift nowadays and keywords enabled us to take on board all the new features that you offer, and one of them was the language AI, right? So, like you mentioned, it's super important to be to stay ahead of the game, just to make sure that you can provide, take advantage of this and provide the best user experience and deliver the best player support that you can. The other important aspect when using AI is what we actually do at Huuuge is not to use not the generic AI, right? So we feed the AI with our internal content. We train it just to make sure it can be successful, right? So what is important here also to mention is that we need to have good agents. So the AI can be actually trained, right? So they need to give good responses. They need to provide good quality to make sure that the AI later will also provide it, like so this cooperation with keywords and our internal agents is super important, and I think it's really profitable. Again, I already mentioned that, but I think it's good to highlight it again. It's important to have someone who will understand the customer journey and will help to implement you the tools like language AI. Like with keywords and Helpshift, this cooperation is great because you already know our players, you know how they behave, you know what they want, and thanks to that, it was much easier for us to do the implementation. So I hope to see that also in the future. What else I could mention here? Because we're also trying to use a little bit of this generative AI powered answers, right? This is something that we kind of like, we are checking how it works. So we see first good results. The players are not super happy to take advantage of that, so they're a little bit skeptical. But I need to admit that this kind of simple queries, simple issues that can be resolved with AI. They are, and also with good CSAT actually. So if players look for quick help, simple solution, and they don't have time to go through the FAQ, here AI powered answers are just perfect, right? So basically we are implementing that as well. Obviously, when it comes to more complex issues, the bot will redirect to our agents who then can help, and then the player can talk to a real person.
So you covered that in a way in a previous response to my question, but balancing technology and human is critical, right? And you just gave an example of that where Gen AI is not managing to fully address the question. It's the bot moves that to an agent. So how do you maintain this balance, and what kind of advice would you give to organizations who are striving to achieve that balance?
I would say that customer support and was always kind of ahead of the game, right? So we always had bots, automations, and stuff like that, right? But I think in gaming world, we will never go fully automated, right? So that's why it's important to have agents who are knowledgeable, agents that are trained, like we have agents from keywords cooperating with our internal agents, that they know how to use Helpshift, taking advantage of the tool, so that's super important. You mentioned this CSAT for the VAPs, right? And I think that's kind of shows that it's really difficult to go fully automated. Players, they want this human touch. They want to talk to a real person, but you can find the balance, right? You have, I think most of the issues can be resolved with AI. Also, what is important here, maybe we'll talk about this as well, with API integration, right? AI API integration. This should be kind of like, this should come together, right? So to find the balance is super important. And like I mentioned, I don't think we will ever go fully automated.
Yeah, and we had like we met, for the audience, we met with Sebastian Friday, and we had quite a big conversation about this automations level, and the fact that in boardrooms everybody's talking about, hey, let's just use ChatGPT, it can solve customers' issues, let's just plug ChatGPT. There's been quite a bit of pressure from boardrooms execs on the customer support field in general. And the conversation we had, we touched that in a way that the critical item here is that API connection that Sebastian mentioned, because with bots or other automations, you cannot really achieve very high level of automated support, not automated deflection. It's kind of a difference there. We want to resolve place issues, right? They wouldn't want to contact us in first place. They want to go back to the game. So making sure that we maybe need to educate the boardrooms more about having this API connection so that whether it's virtual agent, whether it's a bot, it can actually make an action into the backend system of a game or a fintech system or else. So
Yes.
Sebastian,
Just one more thing, maybe
yeah.
I mentioned here that because we talk about automation, handling tickets manually, why is it not super easy to implement this it's fully AI? Because the gaming industry, it's not super easy, right? Like different topics, different questions, sometimes very complex, right? And I think that's why the gaming industry is a bit unique, and that's why we need this mix of AI supporting our agents to deliver the best quality.
Right. Thank you, Sebastian. We went through this content quite fast, so we have plenty of time now to answer any questions that there might be. There is one slide that we haven't really shown to the audience. Sarah, maybe we can flick it on the screen. The slide 3 with the average CSAT and time to first human response from the aggregated benchmark. There we go. So this was quite interesting as well. It gives an idea. The previous slides paint the picture as well. But if we look at the CSAT for tickets that were within the 62 domains across those 13.6 million issues, we looked at which tickets had language AI used and which didn't, and compared the CSAT of the two. And we also see that the ones with language AI typically had a faster first time to human response. But this is only with language AI enabled domains. So there's a lot more data to be investigated, and we've been looking at that. I feel like the examples that we've shared before could give you as an audience a valid insight there into what results you can expect should you implement language AI. In general, your existing team can support players across all of languages. So naturally, the time to first human response is going down. Thanks, Sarah, for putting that up for the audience to have as an insight. And now we can go to the questions. So Tony, hi Tony. Good to see you on the webinar. is asking if we've tried, Sebastian, I think it would be better for you if you want to take that. Have you tried using AI for agent scheduling based on demand history, hourly, daily seasons, particularly for live chat? So it's more of a workforce management question.
Yes. No, but that is a very good question because we haven't used it officially. I was playing with that, but I think I need to kind of like focus a little bit more on that. But to be honest, we haven't tried AI yet to schedule that. With live chat, we are again still testing, and I think that there will be the need of actually taking advantage of AI because live chat is a little bit different tool than the ticketing system in Helpshift.
All right. And then we have, I see Sarah is pasting questions that came before the webinar, so I'm just going to read it to you, Sebastian. From your experience, Sebastian, what were the top 3 most successful player support strategies that you offered for VIP players to prevent churn and increase their engagement?
If we focus on the player support and how we were handling incoming queries from the VIPs, I think the most important thing is to treat every /issue individually and respond as soon as possible. You know, you need to be available for the players, for the VIP players, 24/7. Having AI languages, there are no limitation when it comes to the language our VIPs speak. So we were able actually to implement VIP service 24/7 via Helpshift, and that led to the increase of CSAT, as you saw, 3.8 to 4.8. Also, I think when it comes to player support, I think super important thing is that also when we look at language AI, it helps us to find more time that we can spend with VIP players. The goal for us talking to VIP players is not to solve the issue as soon as possible, but to understand and try to find a solution, but also to follow up and to make sure that the players is 100% happy.
All right, thanks for the answer, Sebastian. We have 2 more for you. How did you integrate AI without jeopardizing the motivation of your human support colleagues? What did it save or bring? So the motivation of agents being, I think that's a common challenge in the industry. So
yeah, but I think this question we already answered in our chat because language AI actually helped the agents to achieve very good scores, be more efficient, but also by sticking to certain KPI levels, the agent they have more time now to focus on different additional tasks. You know, like so. Just finding time to take care of player insight, you know, to help with other interesting projects, you know, like so basically we want to make sure that that AI and this is what we do, we explain the agents that that AI will not replace them, right? AI will help them to do their work and will give them more time to spend on other valuable aspects of managing players. So and I think it was really good received by the agents, and now basically I don't think they can imagine working without this AI language tool from Help.
Okay, thanks. And let's focus the next questions particularly on language AI, because what did you do to prepare your customer experience agents for AI integration and implementation? So let's take language AI as an example, as we are focusing on that today. So what did you have to do to prepare the team for language AI coming in?
So firstly, we explained how it will work. So we did some trainings. We showed the agents how it works, how we use the tool, and how it actually should help us. And then it's quite. This part was quite simple, but also important with the implementation is we gained help from keywords. Like from as they were the experts, so they help us a lot when it comes to integration, and also educating our agents, and Keyword Studio agents were already kind of like experienced with that tool. So that was kind of like that was quite easy. We had to again we tried to explain the agents how to use the tool and how it will help them in their daily work. So it was language AI is really simple to implement, right? So basically agents understand, they grasp quickly that it's a great tool to have without actually what we mentioned before, copying, pasting, and using kind of like some other methods to actually translate tickets.
Okay, and then for orgs that are unsatisfied with their operations, where will AI learn from? And I'll take that one. I'm assuming it's speaking to the quality of the AI output, and like it's a garbage in, garbage out, right? Like everybody heard that for data mining and then trying to understand statistics. If we look at Gen AI powered answers that we have today in Helpshift, that focuses on the knowledge base that you have within the Help Center. So if you have good content there, the AI will be better or give more solid resolutions to whoever's asking for support. If we don't have this content, then AI doesn't have what to learn from. Similarly, when we look at language AI specifically, we didn't touch that topic at all, Sebastian, but we can also create custom engines, right? Dedicated to specific brand, specific game. And that's where we do specific trainings of an engine for specific language based on the content. Usually it's game localization or a large pool of tickets, historical tickets, where the translation tool tries to match the tone, wording, and kind of glossary as well between the two. Hope that answers the question. If we haven't addressed the specificity that it was looked for, please feel free to follow up. Next question, can the agent AI feature be implemented for issues integrated via the Helpshift Meta API? I should know that, but I don't. So we will follow up to the person asking. I don't know if the chat sees the name, but we see the name, so we'll be following up to the person specifically to answer. Sarah just dropped in the chat our case study that Sebastian helped build. So please, we welcome everybody to take a look and read it more about it. All right, we don't have any more questions. So Sebastian, any final thoughts?
Yes, I would like to say something because we didn't speak about it, but I think with AI in general and Helpshift and all the new features that are coming, we see great potential in it, right? So there are many new things that will be offered very soon, and we already started testing them, right? There's sentiment check, right? We would like to go for the agent co-pilot. So many things that maybe we will discuss in the future. And I hope that they will work as good as the language AI. Because I think the language AI is a tool that every company should have, you know, like really, because it's a game changer, basically.
Thanks for that, Sebastian. Really appreciate you sharing openly the experience you've had with the tool. And we are seeing on the chat that the chat is disabled. So I guess Sarah, just me, Sebastian, and you can see the chat. I don't know how we can fix that, so we can drop the link into the chat so people can go and take a look and read all about Huuuge's experience.
I'm adding that to the Q&A panel, so I'm sending that to the attendees, and we'll share after today the recording of the webinar, and I'm make sure that I add the link to the case study as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Sarah. Sebastian, it's a pleasure. And everybody, thanks for tuning in and staying with us throughout the webinar. We hope the insights that we shared are useful and you have some key takeaways. Feel free to reach out to me, Sebastian, Sarah, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that can come up as you put some thinking into what we shared today. Really appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you, Marek.
Thank you.
Bye.